All right. So, good afternoon to you all, and welcome to another wonderful day. Today is another great day. Great to see you all, and we want to continue with our studies today. Today is going to be the 13th. Good afternoon, Yvonne. I'm always happy to see you in class. You're always consistent. Thank you. Yampandi. Thank you, Ruby. Thank you all, and welcome to class. Welcome to class. I'm always so inspired by how you are so committed and so serious and how you are learning each and every day. This is what we need. This is what we should be doing. And this is what will take us far. All right. So today is another wonderful day, and we want to continue exploring databases. Yesterday, we learned that databases are a fundamental part of information technology, and it's at the heart of information technology. Each and every one of us needs to have an experience with databases. You should have an experience working with databases to the level where you can design a database yourself, create a database yourself, work with a database in an application. I think it is something that really opens your understanding. And if you don't have that, you don't have that, it is it's like some of the concepts we talk about, you only imagine them. Yes, so we should have that. I only wish I had time for us to go through a database um, simple course. At the very least, you should be able to work with Microsoft's Access. Access is a database platform, even though it's a one-tier database architecture, and you create a database on your computer, still you can establish all the relationships. So Access is a beautiful database platform that you can establish your relationships, create your tables, design your tables and everything, put in your data, and you can even connect it to an application. So you can connect your Access database to an application, and Access is for simple database applications, very simple desktop databases. But what you really need an experience in is MySQL. MySQL is interesting. Yes, so you should be able to create a database in MySQL, whether offline or online. Now that most of you have a control panel, you can just create MySQL and connect it to a simple application. Connect it to a simple application. I really wish we could all go through something like that. It's an experience you need to have. It broadens your understanding, makes you understand better. So yesterday we talked about databases with AWS, and we started with RDS. And RDS, we discovered RDS to be a wonderful database service, a relational database service, and learned all that we code about RDS. Today, we want to see how RDS works with Aurora and what Aurora really is, what it is, and how it works in the cloud. After this, we will quickly go over the non-relational databases on AWS, and we'll be wrapping up the database aspect of the training, and we'll quickly talk about some of the important topics like VPC, IAM, and a few other concepts, and we'll quickly get ready. So, like we said, this weekend, the first batch should be able to take the exam. Okay, some of you should be able to take the exam. So those of you who are ready, and we've seen that you are ready, we'll do our best to make sure that this weekend you get your exam booked, and then you go and come and tell us what you experienced so that the rest will also know how to prepare and also go. Yes, so we'll do it that way. All right. So before I get into today's lesson, I don't know if I'm audible. I feel like I'm talking to myself. But before I get into today's lesson, I want us to watch a short clip about RDS, refresh our memories. Thank you, Lucretia. And after that, we will deep dive into today's lesson. So let me share my screen again, and we'll go through a short video. Thank you.
Relational databases are at the heart of your most critical applications, but they can become difficult to manage and operate with high availability as you scale your app. Installs, patching, monitoring, performance tuning, backups, scaling, security, hardware upgrades, and storage management. Database administration is resource intensive, taking time away from building your application. Amazon Relational Database Service, RDS, simplifies database management by automating time-consuming administration tasks. With less operational overhead, your team can focus on optimizing applications and getting faster results. Amazon RDS gives you the freedom to use your relational database of choice, including the most popular open source and commercial engines, and Amazon's relational database built for the cloud, Amazon Aurora. Aurora is MySQL and PostgreSQL compatible and offers the performance and availability of traditional commercial databases at a fraction of the cost. RDS allows you to scale across a global footprint of data centers with enterprise high availability and disaster recovery, no matter your size. RDS automates many previously cumbersome tasks: automatic failover, backups and point-in-time restore, disaster recovery, access management, encryption, secure networking, monitoring, and performance optimization. All these and more can be enabled with a few clicks or API calls. Even highly regulated industries can leverage RDS, which meets a broad range of compliance certifications. Hundreds of thousands of AWS customers use Amazon RDS today. Find out why with a free trial. aws.amazon.com/RDS.
All right. So our mission today is to understand Aurora. Aurora is why we are gathered here today, to understand this incredible service. So if you can hear me, please type Aurora in the chat for me. I don't know how you can spell it. However it sounds to you, please just spell it for me. Aurora. All right. So our job here is to understand Aurora, because Aurora is the baby of AWS, and AWS really likes Aurora. It's not possible for you to go through this examination without meeting Aurora. Aurora was created by AWS themselves, and they want everyone to understand it. So that is why we are here, to explore it and get the understanding we need from it. All right. So we've been talking about AWS services, and we've gone through most of these services. When we took the combined quiz, you realize how it took you back, and you went through all of these services that we have covered. And when it comes to databases, we have RDS, which we've discovered to be incredible. We have Aurora, and we will quickly tackle the NoSQL databases after that. And we will have a strong foundation in the databases, what the examination requires us to know, and then we'll move on. Some of the other concepts that are very important, like VPC, incredibly important. About 53, you should know a little bit about it, but VPC is very, very important. CloudFront, we know a lot about it already. And API gateway tool, we know a little about it. So we will talk about some of the important ones and then we get ready for the exam. CloudWatch is super important. We'll explore CloudWatch a little bit. And we also explore the IAM, Identity and Access Management, and we will be ready. So let's get ready. Let's get ready. We are almost there. We are almost there. We don't want you to be deficient in the examination. So we need to arm you with the necessary information before you tackle the examination. So let's go through it. Although it has been a little slow, but we are really covering grounds and we are really learning and we are almost there, almost there. All right, so we've been talking about databases and the database services, and we've covered RDS, so wonderful, and we want to learn about Aurora. And yesterday when we were setting up RDS, we saw that even in RDS, the engines available in RDS, Aurora is also part of it. Aurora is also part of it. And we mentioned that there are different types of databases. Talked about relational databases and non-relational databases. And we mentioned how relational databases are structured and organized in rows and columns and in tables. And they are table-based databases. And this is how structured data really works. And structured databases really works. And so we create databases with tables, and then we establish relationships. I like the way we establish the relationships. Once we have the tables, we go ahead and we establish relationships between these tables. So what you have seen here is a database schema that shows you the tables and then the relationships between them. Yes, and with Microsoft Access, you can do this, establish your relationships. With your MySQL, you can do this, establish your relationships, and you can query or retrieve data through or from this particular database. Once you write a query, your query will go around the tables and fetch exactly what you need. So this is how relational databases work, and this is how we have been building applications with databases. I do this all the time. I do this all the time. Yes, when I was building the LMS, I designed a simple database system, connected all the tables and all that. This is so wonderful to experience, and it is something great that every tech professional, especially a beginner, should be able to experience or have an experience in. Yes, you understand the concept of primary keys and foreign keys and how you can set up the relationships, set up the data types, and create your tables and start receiving data into your database. Yes, so this is what we've been doing, and this is how serious databases have been working. We also learned that non-relational databases are also becoming more and more popular today. And so we will also get experience in non-relational databases or what we call NoSQL databases. And we will understand how they have become very popular and how they are important. So right after relational databases, we will get an idea of how non-relational databases also work. All right. Okay. These are some of the relational database management systems. We talked about MySQL, we talked about Postgres, Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, SQLite, Microsoft SQL Azure, and these are powerful database systems. So all the applications we build, like SQLite, is usually used for mobile apps. Oracle is a serious database platform for commercial applications. I'll mention what commercial databases are shortly. And MySQL is very popular for web application, Postgres as well. And these are these are open source and easy to use database platforms. And they are very popular. And when it gets to the environment of Oracle, we are going to understand that Oracle is a serious environment, and even Microsoft SQL Server as well. And sometimes these are commercial platforms where serious applications run their databases on. So today's lesson, we will zoom into Aurora and how Aurora is designed, what it is, and it will lead us to understand commercial databases and all that we need to know. So Amazon Aurora is a fully managed cloud-native relational database service developed by AWS. So when we say it is fully managed, we understand what that means. It means the underlying infrastructure is handled by AWS, and it is managed in terms of maintained, in terms of upgrades. It is managed by AWS. So you don't have to do any management with a service. AWS does it for you. Now, what we need to understand right now is what is meant by cloud native. Cloud native. So when we say cloud native here, what this means is that this is a special database built for the cloud, okay? To follow the cloud architecture, to follow the features of cloud, to follow the auto scaling, to follow the configurations of cloud. So what this is doing right now is that although we have databases like MySQL and all that, this particular one has been built for cloud. And one thing that this does is that it makes it very fast. It makes it very high performing. It makes it super effective. Yeah, so this is a cloud-based relational database service. So although we have normal relational database services, like we have RDS, which works with MySQL. So with your RDS, you can work with MySQL, and MySQL is the same open source MySQL that we know, that we use in our cPanels, we use on our local computers, the same engine that you will work with when you are using MySQL in the cloud. So although in RDS you can use MySQL, this particular Aurora is a cloud designed or designed for cloud service, and it makes it super effective in the cloud. Super effective in the cloud. I'll talk more about that. And because it is designed for cloud, it offers high performance, scalability, and availability. Just think about how cloud services, for example, will give you multi-AZ replication, will give you auto scaling, where your database capacity can easily scale up when there is high demand and the speed of the cloud. And so this particular Aurora is one of the fantastic services that AWS has built to allow databases to operate in the cloud. And this is designed for modern applications. It offers the speed and reliability of high-end commercial databases while being cost-effective. It offers the speed and reliability of high-end commercial databases while being cost-effective. What this means is that when it comes to commercial databases or commercial database environments, the speed and reliability that we get can be found with Aurora, but then the cost of commercial databases is reduced with Aurora. What does this mean? To understand this, let me spend some time and talk to you about commercial databases. Please type commercial databases in the chat for me. Commercial databases. Please type commercial databases in the chat. All right. So we are aware that we have open source databases. We have open source databases like MySQL that is free to use. MySQL, super effective, free to use, can be set up anytime and can be used anytime. But just like servers, for example, just like web hosting, sometimes we have some environments that require high speed, that require scalability, and that require certain features to make it more powerful than it is. We have realized that a service like shared hosting, let's take shared hosting as an example, it can host your website without issues. So you can just put your website on a shared server and your website will be working. But we have understood that in certain situations, shared hosting can never work. Shared hosting is very peaceful when your website is small, when your website is new, when your website is not known. You will be on shared hosting and have no issues. But the moment your website becomes popular and there are a lot of traffic on your website, you realize that shared hosting cannot stand a chance. You need to move to more advanced hosting services like dedicated hosting, clustered hosting, or even cloud hosting, because cloud hosting can give you the auto scaling and can allow you to handle higher traffic. Okay. So if you have worked with higher traffic environments, you realize that you need more than the traditional, simple hosting services that we use every day. You need more than that. You need more than that. All right. That same way, although MySQL is okay for so many things, when it comes to super high performing environments, MySQL is not enough. MySQL cannot handle certain workloads, especially in high traffic, super high traffic environments. And certain environments that require extra security and extra performance, MySQL cannot be used. I remember telling you how I worked with web hosting for so many years, and I had explored almost every type of hosting before, and I had explored how websites would be online without issues for a very long time, until I was put in a different environment where we were dealing with high traffic. So before I went to work with my job online, I had been building websites for so long, and I had experienced all types of hosting before, dedicated and all that. But the moment I went to work in a certain company that had a website for the whole country, that was when I understood that there are differences when it comes to certain service environments. This time we're dealing with the whole country. So for so many years, I was dealing with websites where customers will just visit, and a lot of customers will visit and there are no issues. But this time, we're dealing with a whole country and the traffic from a whole country. That was when I realized that there is a real and a clear difference in how scaling works. And I got experience that in certain environments, what we know and what we've been using for simple operations doesn't work at all. And I was blown away when I saw how Facebook handled their web hosting. And what I experienced that serves the whole country, and all that I learned about scaling that serves the whole country. When I got an experience with Facebook hosting, I realized that that was also a whole new level altogether. This time, you are not serving a whole country, you are serving the whole world. I got to be exposed, I was exposed to different environments where the kind of services we use needs to operate at a different level, and without certain advanced systems, you cannot operate in that environment at all. And so there are certain websites or certain applications that operate with super high speed and that handles serious traffic in certain environments than the usual traditional environment of having a database. For example, let's take a company like Visa. Visa performs millions and millions of transactions every second. Millions and millions of transactions every second. And for such a company and for such a service, the database they use is not the usual MySQL that you know. they don't use MySQL. They use special commercial database services. These commercial database services are not free. They are licensed database services with special features for auto scaling, advanced security, and designed for high traffic environment and high secure environments. A lot of banks work with commercial databases. For example, Oracle database is a commercial database. You need a license to be able to use it. You need a license to be able to use it. MySQL Server is a commercial database, and it is used in such environments. For example, Netflix does not work with free open source databases. Netflix works with commercial databases. These are licensed, super high speed, super reliable databases. LinkedIn works with commercial databases. Facebook works with commercial databases. And so there are certain applications, because of the scale that they operate, they need advanced features for speed, for high security, and high reliability than the databases you know. These are called commercial databases. There are several government applications and government agencies that work with commercial databases. And so Aurora gives us the speed and reliability of high-end commercial databases while being super cost effective. So instead of paying for commercial databases, with Aurora, you get the service of commercial databases at a lower cost. And so if you are building a high-end application, you get to experience speed and reliability through Aurora. Sometimes some of the things we learn and we use and we know, a time will come, you realize that in certain environments, they don't work at all. We need advanced services to be able to operate such environments. Now, Aurora is also compatible with MySQL and PostgreSQL or PostgreSQL, making it a great choice for developers seeking a robust, scalable, and highly available database solutions. What are we talking about? What we are saying is that Aurora is designed for cloud. Aurora is cloud native, cloud-based. It was created by AWS themselves for cloud with the speed, the scalability, and what I like is the availability of the cloud. Plus, it offers commercial database features. Plus, it is compatible with MySQL and PostgreSQL. What are we talking about? Now, when we say it is compatible with MySQL and Postgres, what that means is that applications built for MySQL can be migrated to Aurora without requiring modifications. What does it mean? Aurora, although it has all these amazing features, it is also compatible with MySQL. This means that if you have an application that runs on MySQL and you want to scale it up to or bring it to Aurora environment, you don't have to make any changes. Aurora accepts MySQL. Aurora will work with your MySQL. For example, if you have a WordPress website built with MySQL, you can migrate it onto Aurora and it works. It is not like sending it to a different environment and it no longer works, or you have to do a lot of tweaks. You have to fix a whole lot of things. You don't have to do anything. It works with MySQL. So your MySQL can be brought onto Aurora and it will work well. Yesterday, when we went to RDS, we saw several engines. We saw that you can work with MySQL on RDS, no problem. But you can also select Aurora and get the cloud features for relational databases. So let's remember that Aurora is also relational. So this is for relational database environments. And Aurora is compatible with MySQL. So it gives you the features of MySQL while offering better performance, automatic scaling, and increased availability compared to regular MySQL and Postgres. So in RDS, you can choose to work with your MySQL, no problem. You pay less for that. Or you can choose to work with Aurora and get your MySQL still with commercial features, with advanced features. So Aurora is a supercharged version of MySQL that incorporates AWS benefits. So just like we said, it is compatible with MySQL, but it offers the added benefits of advanced cloud features. So if you look at it, it is a supercharged version of MySQL and gives you benefits such as automatic scaling, high availability, enhanced performance without requiring changes to your MySQL-based applications. Look at some of the things we are talking about. We are saying that Aurora is 5 times faster than MySQL. Wow. So in terms of speed, Aurora is built to be 5 times faster than MySQL and 3 times faster than PostgreSQL, as it is built specifically to leverage cloud architecture. So the way we said it is cloud-based, it means it is built to make use of cloud architecture. It is built to make use of cloud architecture, and it offers high speed. And this is AWS's own service. And so you should keep this one in mind. This is one of the important lessons. Keep it in mind and understand this Aurora and how important it is. It is a baby of AWS, the invention of AWS, and they're not going to have an exam without it. So you need to keep it in mind. When it comes to the availability that I said I like, this is what I meant. Aurora makes 6 copies of your data across 3 AZs. So any data that you store in Aurora, there are 6 copies created, providing 6 copies across 3 AZs, okay? So 6 copies in 3 AZs. That means in every AZ, they'll have about 2 copies. Providing high availability and fault tolerance to ensure data durability and reliability in the event of hardware failure. So I added this diagram for you to see. Now, so let's say this is where you stored your data. This is your primary Aurora instance. And the M here stands for master. Please type master in the chat for me. So this is where the master copy is. And the moment you store your master copy, what happens is that you get a replica immediately in the same AZ. Okay, so these are the features that Aurora gives you to be able to secure your data in a cloud architecture. So you make use of their global infrastructure as well. So when we talk about, sorry, when we talk about it being cloud native or making use of cloud architecture, this is one of them. It uses the global infrastructure of AWS and replicates your data across multiple AZs to give you high availability. This is a special feature that you get with Aurora. So the master instance automatically creates a copy in the same AZ. So you have 2 copies. So it writes a copy in the same AZ, plus it will go to another AZ and have 2 read replicas or 2 read copies stored in another AZ. And it will go to a third AZ and give you 2 other copies. Now, what you are looking at right now is something that you'll be expected to remember in the examination. So with Aurora, you get 6 copies across 3 AZs. This is what defines their high availability or the high availability of Aurora. Very, very important. Very, very important. All right. So I'm going to play a short clip about Aurora. Let's listen to it and let's go through it and understand what Aurora really is. So I'm going to share my screen and we will go through video.
Today's database world is an unhappy place for database administrators and software developers. You're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Either you use old guard databases that offer enterprise capabilities but cost a fortune, or you use open source databases that are difficult to scale. Free yourself and get the performance and availability of commercial databases with the low cost and flexibility of open source databases with Amazon Aurora, a relational database built for the cloud. Aurora is MySQL and Postgres compatible, making it an easy choice for your new or existing applications. It's up to 5 times faster than MySQL and up to 3 times faster than Postgres, and scales automatically to keep up with your applications. Aurora makes 6 copies of your data distributed across multiple locations and continuously backs it up to Amazon S3, so your data is safe. For globally distributed applications, Aurora can replicate your data across multiple regions for fast local performance and disaster recovery. Aurora is fully managed, so you can set up, operate, and scale a database in the cloud with just a few clicks. For unpredictable workloads, you can use Aurora Serverless to automatically start, scale, and shut down a database to match application demand. Aurora gives you enterprise-grade performance, scalability, availability, and security with the simplicity and cost-effectiveness of an open-source database. Move to the cloud, build faster, and run simpler with Amazon Aurora. Get started today at aws.amazon.com/rds/Aurora.
Okay, so you've seen something about Aurora, and this is what AWS wants you to know about Aurora. This is an incredible service designed for the cloud, compatible with MySQL and PostgreSQL, and it offers the high speed and high reliability of commercial databases, and it offers the low cost and flexibility of open source databases. This is a special database that gives you what you need for modern applications and built over the AWS global infrastructure. It is an incredible service, and it accepts your MySQL. So if you have your MySQL application, you can migrate it to Aurora and have no problems at all. Plus, you enjoy the features of high-end commercial databases and cloud-based databases. Let's talk about some of the features of Aurora. Number one, high performance, up to 5 times faster than MySQL and 3 times faster than PostgreSQL. High availability, replicates data across 6 copies in 3 eases. Okay. Scalability, it provides auto scaling up to 64 terabytes. Auto scale storage up to 64 terabytes. Wow. I remember how your databases take up a lot of space if your website is popular. So some of the clients I've been managing over the years, some of the clients I've been managing over the years, there are some of them that their websites have a lot of visitors, and they've been with me for several years. And you realize that they are consuming more of my storage resources, and their database keeps growing and growing and growing. You know, when you buy web hosting services, you have space that is allocated to your hosting account. But you can see their database growing in size. So the database occupies a lot of space. And sometimes when I get a new server and I want to migrate my clients to a new server, you see that some of my clients, you yourself, you feel like they are taking too much of your space, and either you want them to buy a special dedicated server or a special hosting that they are using, or for them, a special hosting for them, because other clients occupy very, very small amounts of space, and it is okay for the reseller accounts that you have. But you can see a few clients that their data is so much and their storage space occupies so much. And it tells you how databases take up spaces or space. Sometimes the emails that they receive also take up a lot of space. So apart from the space used by the website, you can see that for those clients, their emails, the emails they receive take up space on the server. So if you are managing the server, you get to see all these things. How their database is taking space, how their emails takes up space, and all that. With Aurora, you get auto scaling for storage, especially in high environments. And so in smaller environments where, let's say, you have 2 gigabytes and you are able to store up to 2 gigabytes and sometimes more, like 5 gigabytes or 10 gigabytes, Aurora is saying that we are going to allow you to auto scale up to 64 terabytes. Wow. Please type 64 terabytes in the chat for me. 64 terabytes. Wow. Sometimes, like I said, in certain environments, things are not the same as you are used to. Things are not the same as you are used to. Because in such environments, there is so much traffic that the infrastructure needs to be different. And so with Aurora, look at how much storage they give you, up to 64 terabytes. Can you imagine what 64 terabytes is? For database, wow, that's a lot. So in certain environments, you can see how there is a lot of traffic on the applications, to the extent that databases can be so busy, and so you need special databases like commercial databases, and a lot of storage space as well. So with Aurora, we get up to 64 terabytes, and that's incredible. When it comes to security, Aurora supports encryption, VPC, isolation, and compliance certification. We also have an option of Aurora called Aurora Serverless, which we'll be talking about shortly after the break. And for unpredictable workloads, you can use Aurora Serverless for on-demand scaling. When it comes to costs, you only pay for what you use. Only pay for what you use. only pay for what you use. So these are the features of Aurora that you should know. It gives you high performance in terms of speed, high availability in terms of how it replicates your data, scalability, the amount of storage that you can auto scale up to, security, it gives you serverless option, and low cost. The use cases of Aurora, we have e-commerce, handling large volumes of transactions. There are some e-commerce environments that are so busy, so busy. There are a lot of purchases every second, a lot of transactions every second. Aurora is ideal for very busy e-commerce platforms. Also for financial platforms, financial applications, ensuring data consistency and reliability. Aurora is ideal for financial applications and also ideal for mobile and gaming apps, supporting high speed and real-time transactions. This is what Aurora does for you. So let's compare RDS. Let's compare that one to Aurora and see what we'll discover. Yesterday, we learned about RDS. Let's see how it differs from Aurora. So Aurora gives you better performance and scalability than RDS. Although RDS is amazing, Aurora is better in terms of speed, in terms of the workload it can handle, in terms of the pressure it can handle, in terms of the traffic it can handle, and in terms of its scalability and high availability, making use of AWS's global infrastructure to provide high performance. Aurora is way better. Then Aurora stores your data across multiple AZs automatically. RDS does not. So you can see the added benefit of Aurora. You get your data copied across multiple availability zones in a way that RDS will not give you. Then Aurora serverless allows scaling down to 0. RDS does not. So this Aurora serverless gives you more control and allows your database to be more managed in a way that it auto scales automatically, even down to 0, and gives you a lot of flexibility. RDS does not. So I created this table and it compares RDS with standard Aurora. In terms of performance, Aurora is higher than RDS, and they are all relational database environments. In terms of availability, Aurora is automatically replicated, but RDS is optional. This means you have to decide on how you want to copy your data across AZs. When it comes to scaling, with Aurora, you get up to 64 terabytes auto scale. And with RDS, we have pre-configured limits based on the engine we are using. For serverless option, Aurora gives you serverless option. RDS does not have serverless option. All right. So we will take a short break. When we return, we will look at Aurora serverless and we will wrap up the lesson from here. So let's take a few minutes break and we will continue. So I'll see you after the break. All right. What is the question? It says,
should I read it out? Okay.
Yeah, please read it for me.
Okay, it said, since Aurora is a data engine that can be selected in RDS, doesn't it mean RDS is a multifunction tool via which Aurora capabilities can be accessed?
Yes, it means that as well. So what that means is that although you are using RDS, you can select Aurora. You see the video that we watched, the URL they give us is RDS/Aurora. So what that means is Aurora is a relational database as well. And so when you are dealing with relational databases like RDS, you can choose the option of Aurora and have access to Aurora through RDS. At the moment you choose Aurora, it means that you get the features of Aurora instead of the other engines available. Yes, so it means that, but choosing Aurora in the RDS environment simply means that you are opting for the features of Aurora instead of the other features of the traditional databases. So in a way, your question is very true. What you are saying is very, very true.
All right, thank you, sir. Valentine, I hope it's clear. Okay, there's another question too from Ruben. Is RDS also fully managed? Is it also a fully managed database? RDS?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
So it is. So that's what we learned yesterday. RDS is also fully managed. So yes, it is. All right. So let me just share my screen and we will. And I like the kind of questions you are asking. These are the terminologies you should be using, and this is how you should be thinking. Asking questions like fully managed, it means you are talking in terms of, or you are talking with cloud terminologies. And this is how you should be thinking. So that is really, really good. Very, very good. So I'm expecting to hear more of such terms from you, using cloud terms and all that. Means a lot. Okay. So we are going to talk about Aurora serverless. Let me get this shared and we will just continue. All right. So welcome from the short break. And in the video that we watched previously, we had something called Aurora serverless. And from what we've been reading, we've also heard that Aurora has a serverless feature. Now, when you are dealing with database environments, you have to understand that there is compute behind databases. There is a volume, a storage volume, like block storage behind it, and there are EC2 instances behind it as well. RDS, like we studied yesterday, is fully managed, meaning you don't have to manage the infrastructure behind it. And Aurora is also fully managed. Plus, we have an option called serverless. So with this particular service, it gives you more management features. And when we say serverless, it does not mean at all that there are no servers behind it. It also means that you don't interact with the servers at all. You don't deal with the servers at all. You don't deal with the infrastructure at all. You only deal with your specific work and your data. So let's see what Aurora serverless means. And this Aurora serverless, what it means here is that it is an on-demand auto-scaling configuration of Aurora, my Amazon Aurora. So it is an auto-scaling configuration of Aurora, and it dynamically adjusts database capacity based on application needs, offering a cost-efficient way to handle workloads with unpredictable and intermittent demand. And so there are certain workloads that are unpredictable. With those particular workloads, when you use a serverless option, what it means is that the serverless automatically does the scaling for you and manages it in a way that it saves a lot of costs. So this is auto adjustment feature when it comes to your Aurora databases that allows your application to be cost efficient, especially for systems that have unpredictable demand. So Aurora Serverless is a version of Aurora. So the same Aurora we've studied about, it has a version called Aurora Serverless, designed to simplify database management by automatically scaling the database compute capacity based on the workload. So the more you read about serverless, you get to understand that this is Aurora with more auto-scaling features in terms of the compute behind it. It auto-scales the compute resources based on the demand or the workload of the application. It simplifies it and makes management much more easier. Unlike traditional databases that require you to select and provision a specific instance, Aurora Serverless adjusts its resources dynamically and only charges for the capacity you use. So even with RDS, we saw the different options where you can select free tier and see the compute features giving you or the compute resources giving you. We saw the DB-T2 micro. We saw one vCPU and all that. And based on the one that you select, you see the compute resources giving you. With this particular service, you don't choose the compute services you want or the compute resources you want. What happens is that it auto adjusts the compute for you based on your workload, and it charges you for what you use. So Aurora Serverless uses what we call Aurora Capacity Unit, or ACUs, to measure database capacity. An ACU represents a combination of processing power and memory. It represents a combination of processing power and memory, and it automatically adjusts the number of ACUs based on the workload. So all that we are saying is that it monitors your capacity and auto scales for you. So one keyword that has been consistent across Aurora is what we call auto scale. And this is what Aurora does. So the key features of Aurora serverless. Number one, automatic scaling. So just like we've been saying over and over, automatic scaling is one common feature or added benefits of Aurora serverless. So it automatically adjusts capacity in response to application demands, scales up or down to handle workload spikes or allows seamlessly. Number two, cost efficiency. You pay only for the database capacity used, and ideal for applications with variable or infrequent database activities or unpredictable activities. And so instead of selecting the compute resources for the database with the serverless, it automatically selects for you. You don't handle the compute. You don't even decide on the compute. It automatically monitors and adjusts for you just to save costs. So we've seen that auto scaling is the main feature of serverless, Aurora serverless. And we've also seen that it is done to save costs. So it is cost efficient. Number three, it is also high available. So we have high availability. It distributes across multiple AZs, provides fault tolerance, and quick failover. Then we also have fast setup. No need to manage database provisioning. Easily switch between provisioned and serverless configurations. So with this, you don't have to manage the compute behind the database you are setting up. And you can also switch to serverless with ease. You can switch to serverless with ease. All right, so let me check if I have a video on serverless. We go through it and then we'll wrap up the lesson for today. So let me quickly see my videos and I will see which one we can watch.
Enterprises, SMBs, and startups alike face a dilemma when managing database capacity: provision too much and overspend, or underestimate capacity needs and risk failures. With Aurora Serverless v2, you no longer have to worry about managing database capacity. It automatically and instantly scales database workloads in a fraction of a second. As it scales, Aurora Serverless v2 adjusts capacity in fine-grained increments to provide just the right amount of database resources that the application needs, and you pay only for the consumed capacity. Aurora Serverless v2 supports all manner of database workloads, from development and test environments, websites, and applications with intermittent and unpredictable workloads, to the most demanding business-critical applications that require high scale and high availability. Now, instead of provisioning databases for peak loads, you can use Aurora Serverless v2 to automatically provision and manage database capacity. You can save up to 90% in database costs compared to provisioning capacity manually. Start using Aurora Serverless v2 today to get the most out of your database.
All right, so this is a service or a database service that AWS is very much interested in and has been giving questions on this particular service. And so it is very likely that you are going to have questions from this particular service. So Aurora is one area we need to pay attention to. And we've seen its serverless option, and we've seen that it gives us auto scaling in a way that it can save up to 90% of the cost of provisioning. This means that when you choose a database service, you need to provision or select the compute options for it. With serverless, you don't go through the provisioning of the compute or the selection of the compute resources. It automatically manages it for you. Auto scales it, allows you to save costs, gives you high availability, gives you fast setup, and allow you to enjoy the benefit of Aurora Cloud. And one last feature here is integration. So it is compatible with MySQL and PostgreSQL engines, supports integration with other AWS services like Lambda and API Gateway. So this is a very amazing service that AWS gives us, and it is a powerful database service. So after going through this lesson, we have seen how AWS has created its database service with cloud architecture, and we can make use of it when it comes to relational databases. And so why would you use MySQL in RDS and not Aurora? The only reason may be because MySQL is a little less expensive than Aurora, because Aurora is a supercharged version. And so once you select Aurora, you use the advanced features of Aurora and commercial database environments. And so you get more power to your databases. And if your application is a small application and does not require the advanced features of Aurora, then you can choose the RDS. You can choose the RDS. But if your application is still small and you still want the cloud features, then you can go ahead and choose Aurora. All right. So I'm personally happy with this particular service and what AWS is doing and how they have built their own database service that gives you the power of cloud, the power of commercial databases, and the flexibility of open source databases as well. This is an incredible service, and this is something to take note of. So I hope you've learned something from this lesson. Watch this video again, just understand the features of Aurora. Keep Aurora as one of your priorities when it comes to the services that you should look out for questions in that area. Keep Aurora closely among your top services and understand that it's a relational database service. Relational database service. So all that we said about relational databases, Aurora is a perfect service to offer you all of that. So with Aurora, what you need to know for the exam is what we've talked about in terms of pricing, and you are only charged for what you use, okay? So when it comes to this examination, it depends on the service we are talking about and how deep we will go in terms of the topics to discuss. So with this one, all that we need right now is to understand that you are charged based on the resources you actually use. Yes, based on the resources you actually use. So let's keep that in mind. And any question that will come with this particular topic in terms of cost will be as simple as that. Yes, so that is it. That is it. So I like the way you have questions and you can ask questions in the chat. So anytime we are having a lesson, any question you have, you put it in the chat and we look at it as well. All right. So I want to thank you for taking time to go through this service as well. Let's add it to what we have learned so far. And if there's any lesson you have missed, please go over the videos and rewatch and get better understanding. Thank you all so much. It's been lovely learning with you, and we are making a lot of progress. We are making a lot of progress. So thank you all. Thank you all, and I'll see you tomorrow. And we'll have more information to discuss tomorrow. Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you, Rubin, Hilary, Paul. Thank you all, Caleb. Thank you, Frida. Thank you, Nyampandi. Thank you all. And I'll see you in the next class. All the best. Bye-bye.